So, welcome to FCAD Studio 1900 for another fire edition of Mike on the Mic. I am Mike Ross, and I, along with our producer, David Mackley, a.k.a. Bosco, interview local movers, shakers, and policymakers about issues that matter to all of us, or at least most of us. Nothing is off limit.
Nothing.
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 All right. I'm looking forward to today's edition, but before we meet today's guest, I'm pleased to announce our sponsor, and Jeb Keller, who was supposed to be here but is not. He represents Blue Ridge Risk Partners. And Bosco, now, when you think of insurance, who do you think about?
I think of Jeb Keller at Blue Ridge Risk Partners.
Why do we think of him? Because he never shows up.
He never shows up, but he's a great guy, and he's from Waynesboro. So
He is.
Yep.
I just learned about the fact that growing up, he really didn't like Chambersburg very much at all.
none of us did.
But he's
He
insured.
lived in
Now
Waynesboro.
he insures everybody in Chambersburg, but
Yeah.
that's a good thing. But from captive insurance and alternative risk solutions for your business to health insurance for your family, Blue Ridge Risk Partners offers the products, expertise, and service of a top 10 insurance agency here in Franklin County. Friend of the podcast, Jeb Keller, is always happy to take your call, and he really is a good guy. And the other thing is, and before we get to our guests, and this is going to be great, we have an event coming up with the FCADC on September the 11th. We will be hosting our 37th annual Industry Appreciation Dinner at Green Grove Gardens. And if you have not received your invitation, please call FCADC at 717-263-8282. And we want to give a shout out to our platinum sponsor, Boyer & Ritter CPAs. But our Industry Appreciation Dinner is our signature event, and it's a lot of fun, and we enjoy doing it, and we get to make fun of everybody we want to make fun of. So, that's all good. So, today.
All right. Remember, close to the mic,
Yeah,
Mike.
okay. I get yelled at
You do.
for being in and out on my audio. But we have with us Dr. Lesli Shuman, who is acting director, not for long. She's going to be the permanent director of the Franklin County Career and Tech Center. And I can't express how important the FCCTC is in meeting the education and workforce needs of Franklin County, and how it is really grown, and it's really one of the most important educational assets we have. So Lesli, welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going to get to know you more.
Okay,
So-
sounds good.
So anyway, to that point, where'd you grow? So where are you from?
Where am I from? I'm from the big metropolitan area of Newville.
You moved all the way 30 miles. Do you still live in Newville?
I still live in Newville.
No, well,
My
so-
son is a bulldog.
So Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday, my wife and I said, we're not like we're going to go to. Ended up going to York, furniture shopping, but so we'll stop for breakfast on the way. We actually went to Newville to Theo's or
Theo's Diner.
yeah,
yes.
right there,
Right on the square.
right there, downtown Newville. How's it get better than that?
That's our one stoplight right there.
So anyway, so you are a Big Spring graduate.
I am a Big Spring graduate.
You know what? That's a nice campus they have.
It's
it really
fantastic.
is.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, it takes. It's like it's unexpected when you see it, and so that's great. So you graduate from Big Spring.
Graduated from Big Spring and did my undergrad at Shippensburg.
Okay, so you really did
Nice.
stay local.
I did stay
Oh,
local.
that's good.
I lived in Spain for a while I was in Shippensburg.
Oh,
so
so you
I was
did?
a Spanish major.
Okay, so where'd you go to in Spain?
I lived in Sevilla, but I traveled. I went over there with the University of North Carolina and
Okay.
studied for 6 months.
Okay, our oldest daughter spent 6 weeks in Spain. At starts with a V.
Valencia,
Yeah, yes, Valencia.
beautiful.
Yep,
It's on the coast.
yep.
Yep.
So she was there. She would move to Spain, I think, if she loves.
I get it.
She absolutely loves.
I fancy myself a Spanish major.
Well, no, you
I'm on day 1,000 of Duolingo.
There you go.
I love that thing.
So no, that's all good. So so growing up in like, so what are some of your hobbies outside of education?
I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday, and they told me it doesn't sound fun. So I do triathlons. I was a swimmer all through like my education and into college. And now as an adult, I had a friend talk me into, we should try a triathlon. And by that, he meant, let's do an Ironman, which sounds good when you agree to it, but it's a lot of
Like you
swimming,
do the
biking,
like the real Ironman.
yes. So
Like 112 miles,
112 miles on a bike and then a marathon.
and then what? How far do you have to swim?
So a full is a little over 2 miles. A half is
So so you swim first?
swim, bike, run.
Swim. Oh man.
And see, I was a swimmer, so I'm like, I'd really like to have the swimming at the end, but I get that
Right.
they don't do that
Well,
because
yeah, you
people would drown.
drown. Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Yeah.
That's pretty good logic there. So you've done the real triathlon.
yes.
How long did it take you? Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, a full one takes anywhere from like 14 to 16 hours. A half is much more
to
reasonable.
train, how long did you
Oh.
have to train?
For that, to get up to the full, we trained for probably 2 or 3 years to build up to that because there's a lot of local like
where'd
sprint.
you do it at?
What's that?
Where did you compete at?
I did a half at Atlantic City and Lake Placid.
Oh man.
And that's fun because the bike, like I wanted to swim in Lake Placid, but then the bike is the mountain. So,
Oh man.
Yeah.
So you did.
How come you didn't get like on back in the 80s? They always had them on TV. It was always Hawaii.
Yeah.
well, see, that's where the world championship is in Kona every year. So, like, if you're really
Oh, like
exceptional,
top-notch,
and
yeah.
yes, you qualify for Kona. I won't ever qualify for Kona, but I'd
Yeah,
go watch.
Oh man. The fact that you completed it.
Mhm.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. That's very impressive.
Thanks.
So.
Yeah, we've
Did
been
you
told
just
that.
like do one and then, or you compete multiple times?
So I try to do some at some level every year. So to be honest, it is a big event to train up to either the half or the full Ironman. It's much easier to do like a sprint or an Olympic. There's really nice ones down at the beach in like early fall, so that's a great time to go and do like Dewey Beach.
Water's warmer, probably.
Yes.
So, is it harder to swim in the ocean or?
Yes.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah,
These
you're
people
fighting
like-
currents.
Yeah,
Yep.
all right, that's you like you're swimming, but you're going nowhere.
It
Like,
doesn't.
That's a lot of work.
Not you're going backwards.
You could compared to the rest of the race, you'd think that maybe 2 miles isn't that big of a deal, but it's probably the hardest portion of the
You know,
three.
when people look at it like at a lake, so I could swim across there. Until you start swimming across
yeah,
there,
and you get
Right.
stuck in
find
the
out
middle.
it's a lot further, and you're not going quite as fast as you thought you were.
Right.
But no, that as I said, that. So do you do marathons and so on, or half marathons, or?
So my favorite distance is probably half, either the half
Okay.
Ironman or the half marathon, because there's nothing fun about doing 100 miles on a bike and then getting off and being like, oh yeah, let's run a marathon now.
So I didn't think about that. So you're gonna like, what would be 100 miles? So you'd be going to like
From here to
probably
Above
almost,
40
al-
Italian.
al- almost DC.
It is funny when you're training because you're like, oh, like when you see the signs on the highway and stuff, you're like, I could bike that. Like,
Yeah, that is. And I routinely do that. So wow. So well, that was something we learned.
Yeah.
So now there's the other things. So are you a rock and roll fan?
I am a rock and roll fan.
So who's your favorite band?
So one of my favorites is Aerosmith.
Okay.
So definitely saw a lot of them when they were still touring and doing things around this area.
Steven Tyler can't tour anymore, can he?
I don't think he has a voice.
Yeah, I think they're done.
Yeah.
I do. My older brother always got me into like the Metallica, Ozzy. He was a big Ozzy fan. I like Southern rock. So
Okay.
probably one of my favorite voices of all time was Chris Cornell from the
Yeah.
Seattle grunge.
Soundgarden.
But yeah, we lost him a couple years ago. So
So all right. So this is I'm learning lots.
There you go.
This
She
is-
sounds like she's from my generation. I won't ask, but it sounds like we might.
What
be
year
up-
did you graduate from Big Spring? That-
97.
there you go.
Okay. Yes,
So-
I was 95 from
All right,
Waynesboro.
Okay. So we were not giving ages away.
Yeah,
but-
right. That's a
So,
good frame of reference.
So, to segue, so you grew up in Newville. You are obviously athletic, and you got like music and so on. But what got you? You're a Spanish major. So what got you interested in career education?
So I did most of my teaching in Franklin County at Greencastle as a Spanish teacher, and then I started my master's
Were
work.
you down there with Greg Hoover?
I was.
He was just on our.
Bob Crater and that whole
Okay,
crew.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And then when I was there, I started doing my my master's work in ed administration, and I was doing that through Temple. I got my master's and started my doctorate, and a position opened up at James Buchanan High School for an assistant principal. And I applied for that, so that's where I started my administrative career. And when I was there, I worked directly with Franklin County Career and Tech, with our students that we shared from the high school. And then eventually I landed in Carlisle, and Carlisle is the first comprehensive high school in the state. So they have their own CTE programs, state-approved CTE programs at the school. So their students have the option even there to just go and enroll and complete a career and tech program. And so
York has that too, don't they?
York is comprehensive, Dauphin County's comprehensive, yes.
And I think Erie might be comprehensive.
I don't know the answer to that. So, but yeah, that's the nice part. They get their academics and their CTE programs in one location. But from there, then I went to Cumberland Perry for about 10 years as the principal. So once I got into the CTE side, I never went back.
Okay.
So
No, that would, so, do you think that model is better? So talk about the model we have here in Franklin County, which I think is, from an administrative standpoint, has to be challenging, to put it mildly.
well, it's interesting
Yeah,
because
everybody's
I've
starting with
I've
different
read that, I've lived that comprehensive world, and then when I went to Cumberland Perry, they're a half day, full year. So they have a group of kids in the morning, and everybody leaves at lunch, and then they rinse and repeat and have a group of kids in the afternoon. So that is what I knew for most of my CTC administrative career. And I came here, and it was very different to do, they're with you for a semester, but they're with you full day. I think this is much more user-friendly for our CTE teachers and our students because, I mean, you look at our labs, you don't have to have a group of engines in the morning for the kids that are there in the morning, then another group of engines for kids that are in there in the afternoon. So when they're, and you're not disrupting the learning, and you can just, like, they really get into their projects and the project-based learning. They can go out and do things in the community and have the full school day to do it. If they're on co-op, you can have them for the full day. So I do think the delivery method that we do with that full day is just better for the whole educational setting. It does make it interesting because then we really have to work with our sending schools to make sure that that other semester those kids are getting their academics.
So do you see, I mean, as part of the challenge though, are we on it? I don't think we are, but maybe you'll correct me. You will correct me if I'm wrong here. So what is, are we on a common calendar? So, because you have, because some of the districts have certain days.
We are very close to being on a common calendar,
Which is
so
very helpful.
yes, so that's one of the earliest things we do, and some of our sending districts actually approve like 2 years at a time, which is fantastic. But yeah, we stay very close to, we try not to have those conflict days of when people are leaving for holidays or there's professional development days. We try to mirror that so we aren't fighting with our sending schools.
So with respect to the sending schools, is there student population at the Career Tech somewhat track along the side, that Chambersburg having the most students, Waynesboro second, and then I assume either Greencastle or Shippensburg in there,
Yes.
and James Buchanan, and in
So
the middle.
Chambersburg makes up about 40% of our population, and then kind of based on what you said and the size of the other districts, that goes down. But yes, Fannett Metal by far is the smallest as well.
Right.
So
That they could send you all their students, and
Yes.
they'd still be the smallest, probably. So.
We love Fannett Metal, though.
No,
we do love them.
No, we do
Dr.
love. No, we
Will's a
do.
big supporter.
We
Yeah.
do, and it's always interesting because we have a number of successful business owners in the county who are Fannett Metal graduates.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's they grew up in the valley,
Yes.
and they are very loyal to the valley too. So
Our auditor is a Fannett Metal graduate.
Wow.
Shout out Rachel Miller,
Yeah.
Boyer and Ritter,
just
platinum
got-
sponsor.
she just got promoted.
She did.
So, so there's a lot of discussion going in the county and in the country about the future of education, especially vocational education and technical education. where we now seem to be doing more integration of technical and academic education. How do you see that? How do you see it locally? And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I know there's that old stereotype about vocational education, and I think even when I was in high school, there was a lot of that. Well, the kids that go to the VOTEC are not the academic kids. Like they don't do well in that traditional setting, and I think that's a horrible stereotype. And I think they really tried to get away from that in 2006 with the Carl D. Perkins Act, because that's when they rebranded as career and technical education. And when we did that, they also incorporate, so if it's an approved career and technical program, it has to have industry certifications. It has to have academics integrated into it. It has to be tied to, have an articulation agreement with post-secondary or an apprenticeship where students are able to get college credits while they're there in their program. So I think that is something for a lot of students that career and technical education does better than our traditional ed. So imagine you're taking just that isolated algebra class back at your sending district. When you come to career tech and that's embedded in your program, you're getting that very authentic, all of a sudden it's relevant. Like if I'm looking in healthcare at medication dosages or inputs and outputs, if I'm doing the math that's required for recipes or to double them or cut them and ratios, doing the chemical compounds that you have to do even in cosmetology to mix the colors and the dyes and have the chemicals right for your clients. That's relevant real-world math, and for a lot of our students, that's when it makes sense. Like, I now get it. I understand fractions. I understand algebra. I understand all of these things because I'm applying it and I'm going to take it with me. So when somebody says, when are you going to use algebra, our kids can answer that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think, and it's always amazing to me when in terms of, you talk to contractors and so on, and these kids are learning the construction trades, but you have to order materials and figure all that out.
Oh my gosh,
and,
yes.
And you're
Estimating all of it.
You're using algebra and geometry and all of your math in a very practical way. Right. So no, and it's interesting also to now see more institutions of higher education, more traditional universities and colleges wanting to incorporate the trades
Absolutely.
into their curriculum. And to that point, I mean, we have built and have worked with Triangle Tech on a welding training center that's located out in the Cumberland Valley Business Park. And Triangle announced last year that they were closing due to regulatory issues in their for-profit world, and it's being taken over by Lackawanna College out of the Scranton area, but they want to incorporate trades into their academic curriculum. So in the future, that's going to be part of it. And I know Shippensburg's looking at ways maybe they can do similar kinds of things.
Right. And I know, a good friend and a mentor of mine, Dr. Michelle Warner, who actually was an administrator in Franklin County and has been a CTE administrator and a superintendent. She's now at the state, and this is like the department that she is heading up, that post-secondary technical schools that are trying to partner and be the pathway from the secondary level CTCs.
So what are your most highly enrolled technical programs out there?
Some of our most highly enrolled and with the largest waiting lists, diesel mechanics is a big one. Our medical assisting, vet assisting, welding, they all are fully enrolled, have big wait lists. That's one reason why we're looking at some of the new programming that we're rolling out.
Diesel guys got to get employed, have opportunities as soon as they graduate.
Well, and that's nice. Our kids actually in the diesel program get through their task list, their state required task list as a level 1 student. And then as a junior coming in, Mr. Grove works with them to get their industry certifications. And we are one of the only career and technical schools in the country that is able to get students the PACCAR Kenworth certification. We actually had Kenworth come in and they're like, we don't understand how you're doing this with high school students. We can't do it with adult technicians. So they've kind of done a study with Kevin Grove on our kids because they want to roll out what he's doing and the success that he's having. But our juniors are then getting employed for their junior summer, and some of them are starting to now graduate early to go be employed with Kenworth or Peterbilt or go on to the Pack Car Institute. So that's an incredible pipeline.
That's great. Yeah, and to digress a minute, you talk about growing up in the kind of the stigma of vocational education, where somehow those students were lesser students, really, and this was a way to get through school without interrupting the academic kids somehow. And I would encourage anyone who wants to find out how successful these students can be, go out and look at the Wall of Fame at the Careers in Tech Center, and you're going to see a who's who
Yes.
of businesses, business owners now, who the ownership graduated from the Franklin County Career and Tech School, Tech Center, and have been highly successful. So you look at somebody like Brian Wise and Marcus Blank, who are graduates, Brymar Manufacturing, or look at Rodney Smith, or you look at your Pat's brother-in-law.
Bob Wolf, GW
Wolf,
Electric.
just got
Yes.
he just went on the wall last
Wall of
year.
Fame last year, yep.
So I mean, it's really, it's absolutely impressive. And one of our favorites is Chad Rosenberry.
Yes, absolutely.
Who went
Sheet
through
metal.
the sheet metal and is one of the premier bankers here in Franklin County. But a real advocate of, obviously, who also chairs what do we call it now? We used to be the General Advisory.
Now we're the local advisory
Local
committee.
Advisory Committee. But
The LAC
Yes.
instead of the GAC.
yeah, so that's all good stuff.
Well, and it's interesting that, you always thought, or it had that stigma of send them to VOTech. Those are the kids that aren't academic. When you talk about the programs that we offer, who do you really want wiring your house, putting in your HVAC, working on your cars that your family's going to travel in, taking care of your parents or your grandparents in a nursing facility? You want the smart people doing that. You want the skilled people doing that. And that's just, that's the stigma that we want to get rid of.
So one time I got invited to give a presentation out at your school for reasons that I'm not sure, but there was a lot of parents there, and so to talk about the importance of the trades and so on. And my take on it at the time, because these were, I guess, parents of eighth graders and so on. They're trying to decide whether you want to go to the career tech or you want to go stay in your sending school, or what have you. And I think that at the time, we're influenced by what we see on TV and the CSI pro. Everybody wanted to be
Yes.
a forensic investigator, okay? And they were going to solve all the crimes of the world. And my look at it would say, wait a minute, we need more plumbers, we need more electricians, we need more carpenters, and the like. And these are the folks, by the way, that have the second homes, third
Yes.
homes, these aren't jobs; these are careers. And the fact is that you're probably going to have more opportunities to be a plumber than you are a forensic investigator, and most people are going to be calling you. because-
Everybody's going to need a plumber.
No, I mean
Right.
your toilet's overflowing. Rarely does
Right.
somebody get killed in your living room.
Correct.
They just come out there and investigate.
We hope.
But no, it's really interesting. But speaking of forensic investigators and the use of technology, how do you see AI impacting academic and workforce education?
So, and this is something I think, everybody was a little hesitant about that as AI started to roll out. And is it just going to be used? Are kids going to use it for plagiarism? It's just going to make that easier. For us, I think it plays such a key part in some of our program. Like, it's very interesting in our graphic communications program. Those students wanted the ones that are very art, and I want my original art, and I don't want anybody to be able to steal my art. Like, this bothers me as how AI works for that and can pull people's ideas and use them. So those students looked at it as, how do we take care of our work that we're creating and everything that we're doing and make sure that it doesn't get out there. So they wanted to develop policy and all sorts of things. And I'm like, there's people at school districts and the state level that aren't able to like figure out how to do policy yet. And I had this group of teenagers wanting to protect their work that are talking about it. But even in a lot of our programs, one of the coolest things that I think I've seen at some of the conferences that we go to, it's a digital twin thing. So you can actually create, instead of actually buying the equipment and bringing it in and having like large jet engines, if you have that kind of program, or like the engines on those big wind turbines, to be able to get people to be inside it and see it and work on it, you can create a digital image of it. So they can create almost like a hologram that the kids can get in and walk around. Same with healthcare, you can create those images. As far as for a lot of our programs, even like the customer service employability side of it, you can do like the interviewing skills, you can put two people together, or do like the doctor-patient, nurse-patient communication. A lot of our equipment, as far as mannequins and simulators and different things like that, uses AI, and we use that in a lot of our programs. So like I see it like it's creating other opportunities for our students as far as preparing them for the workforce or preparing them for continuing education. It's just giving them another level of practice and using those technical skills while they're with us. We're actually looking at doing a grant to try to get some AI certification courses in. So some of our students that are interested will be able to take these online courses and walk away with an AI certification, because I think that's going to be hugely important in a lot of our industries as well.
You see, are you beyond, is your teaching and the AI that you're incorporating into your curriculum, are you beyond where employers are locally, where the kids, I mean, can you bring employers in and say, hey, look, we can train you on this as well?
Oh, I think I absolutely think that we could. I mean, I know employers look at us for some of like the certifications that my teachers teach, so they're trained trainers to do it. So we have those pipelines, but for that as well, just because there's the comfort level, like our students are excited to use that and see what they can do with it. So yeah, I think we
because oftentimes students are more technologically advanced than their teachers and their employers. I mean, it's like, and like they can walk in and say, this is antiquated technology that this guy just invested in.
Right. I mean, it's another awesome tool.
I mean, it really is. So, but I mean, to be able to work with employers to say, look, we can help,
build that comfort level.
I know there's always been the adult education, but this is different than that. I think it's bringing, because some of these kids are going to be advanced beyond what their employer is in terms of use of technology and the like. So, what do you think the current status of the Franklin County Career and Technology Center is? I mean, you're growing. What's your enrollment?
We are growing. We're bigger than we've ever been. We're just over 1,100. So we're almost.
What's your capacity?
We're almost there. So yes, we're opening 2 new programs in January, and that will get us. We'll have 27 career and technical programs.
Great.
But we are also just about have used up our existing footprint completely.
So where do we go from here?
Well, we're trying to maximize the space that we have, so we are shifting and relocating and renovating a couple of our internal spaces. We've talked about just different things that we could do as far as if we do some of these like AI-based or computer-based, do we bring some of those in that don't require the large labs and all of that? Do we partner with some of our industry partners with regards to, a lot of times we have great industry partners, they sponsor our programs, they donate equipment, they donate funds. Like, do we talk about, let's build something with some of those partners, with some of those sponsors? We've also talked about flexible scheduling. We are rolling out more and more work-based learning, where some of that, our kids don't have to just exist, and their learning doesn't have to exist within our 4 walls. Do we get you out and do job shadows, internships, experiences in the community? We do a lot of construction projects within the community and for our school districts. Greencastle has used our building construction trades program at their environmental center for years. So like that's something that that's learning. That's real work-based learning for our students, but it's not happening in our building.
Well, there's a lot of, and I don't know how comfortable you are talking about this. A lot of conversations going on that I know the Chambersburg School District is looking at developing what they're referring to. It's an offshoot of what's known as the Ignite Institute, based out of Boone County, Kentucky. And I've had an opportunity to travel with the Chambersburg administrators to look at that. And I think you've had an opportunity.
I did.
as well.
That was a great trip.
So explain a little bit about how what you see with the Ignite Institute, how that works with the Career and Tech Center.
So I think the model that we saw in Kentucky and what Ignite offers is something that I would say a lot of school districts, not just in Franklin County, but in this area, could benefit from and could answer a problem that we are all facing. So we've had this bleed for several years, and it's a financial bleed for a lot of our school districts where students they're not staying in traditional ed in that traditional high school setting within the four walls. And maybe they're not coming to the career and technical centers for whatever reason, whether it's interest or they just didn't get in or, whatever.
And I think that's important for everybody to understand. A student has to apply
Yes.
to get into the career tech.
Yes, all of our students filled out an application. We look at their grades, we look at their attendance, we look at their discipline. Every single student is interviewed, and then there's a ranking system, and all of those, here's your list of students, here are our recommendations, go back to the sending schools. Ultimately, the sending schools have the choice. They either bless the list that we give them and the rankings that we give them, or we do a little adjusting. But yes, that there is a process to it. There is an application process. We try to get the right kid in the right seat, so you're interested and you are there for the right reasons.
Which, by the way,
It's interesting. I didn't know that.
Robert Wolf did not go to the career tech to be an electrician. He went. I think he went to be a carpenter or something.
I didn't
You
know
have a
that.
lot of
Ended up-
that,
he
too.
got a second choice.
Yep.
But so again, thank you. That explanation is important because with the Ignite Institute, so now we're talking about some kids who may have wanted to go to your school but couldn't get in.
Correct. And some of those kids might just, we see a lot of students going to our cyber charters or leaving public ed for some version of that. The interesting thing about Ignite was that area of Kentucky saw what was going on in other states and wanted to get ahead of it. So they still have their sending districts, their public high schools, and right down the road they also have their career and technical center. And I think the big difference is that when you think of these, it's not a competition. So you're always going to need career and technical centers because there are always going to be those jobs. You're always going to have auto technicians, diesel technicians, nurses, electricians, HVAC techs. They're the things that you're always going to need. And those are state-approved programs where you're getting industry certifications, you're getting college credits while you're there. You can have that capstone cooperative education opportunity where our students actually go out and they're employed by an industry partner, and it's that on-the-job training. But they are getting paid for it, and they're getting their high school credits for it. With Ignite, that it's somewhere kind of in the middle, but they are not approved career and technical programs, but they might be a focused area, whether you call that a college or you call that an academy. So maybe there's an art and design one that has some of your traditional art, like your arts in the high school, or some art history, or maybe that digital media or journalism, broadcasting, that could all be wrapped up in that arts college or arts academy. And it would also pair up with some kind of dual enrollment. But those students, they're not getting the industry credentials. They wouldn't have the opportunity for co-op. They would have
But they're doing internships.
They're doing internships instead
which is
of
different
yes,
in a co-op program.
because your co-op has to be directly tied to that task list, the competencies, and the approved program. So an internship does not, because it doesn't follow that task list or program. So that could be interest based on whatever the student wants. But I thought the neatest thing about Ignite was how everything about it was flexible, from the seating, the walls, the structures, And they do that to base it on what is the current workforce need, what is the current industry need, where are the jobs, what should we be training kids for? And that might change in 5 years. So then you can change what you're offering. Whereas for career and technical ed, like, again, you're always going to need those electricians. You're always going to need those auto techs. You're going to need those nurses. But for Ignite, it's a little different, and it does fit kind of a different student profile.
Well, I know, and to your point, I think in talking with Chris Bigger, the superintendent at Chambersburg, he sees Ignite as a real opportunity to keep kids in school
Right.
and engaged who right now are waning.
Or leaving, wherever.
Yeah, they're, so what are, and I'm excited, but again, there's gonna be space needs for that as well. So, and I don't know, and one of the things I wanna talk to Chris about, and you and others in your world, we may have, space-wise, not only out there, we're gonna have a college campus coming available, that may have some opportunities.
That's
I don't know,
exciting.
yes.
Now, I'd love to see it kind of Ignite get structured the same way that Career Tech is. I'd like to see it as a Franklin County hub out there. I think it would be awesome for the sending districts to be able to send, and kids either come to the Career Tech side or the Ignite side. No, lots of good
Yeah,
things we could do here.
Yes, I agree. What are your top priorities out at this school for the upcoming year?
Our top priorities have been, we are launching 2 brand new approved programs. So in January of 2026, so the second semester of this year, we will open our first protective service, we will open protective services. There used to be a protective services program. I'm not sure when it closed, but we've done a lot of work with industry partners, with Franklin County government, with the public safety group that's right next door to us. So there is a lot of support for this program. It will be a focus on law enforcement, fire, EMS, and then kind of everything that can stem off of that. I know 911 dispatch is
That's
needed,
great.
probation,
Right.
Correctional officers. It will kind of hit on all that. So we are trying to get our instructors in place for that, to bring them on board and start the process of just doing the curriculum and building that program and building the OAC. The other program is animal science, because vet assisting is one of our most in-demand, largest wait list programs. It's really tough to should we do a 2-teacher program or should we do something that complements it? And realistically, there aren't jobs for that many vet assistants in Franklin County. So we did something that complements, and with animal science, it's much more large animal production, nutrition, animal husbandry. So, and that's, as you know, Franklin County, that's
Right.
large in Franklin County. So we're also trying to get our instructor on board for that and to start rolling out what we need to open in January.
Who's a vet, who's a large animal vet. My grandson said to me the other day, he said, I want to make enough money so I could sit at home and watch animal documentaries.
Hey,
Goals.
he's got a plan. Hey, he's got a plan.
Yep.
There's the plan. He going into 9th grade, by the way. So you mentioned, how many employers are you connected with? Do you know? Or
Oh my
generally?
gosh, I don't know.
With
Our
your co-op program?
our cooperative education, we had larger numbers in that than we've ever had as well. So that's one thing. Bless Kathy Estep, because she is out and she has to go see all those kids, and we have had just numbers are exploding with co-op. But that's the goal. We want them to have that capstone cooperative ed experience as a senior, and we're actually, some of that is trickling down now to even juniors, if they've gotten where they need to be and the instructor is comfortable releasing them. So yeah.
That's good. So if you're an employer right now who might want to connect with the Career and Technical Center, how do they get a hold of?
The easiest way is probably to go on our website, and the staff directory is there, or just the general link to find us. You can check us out. I actually run the social media, so if anybody gets in contact on social media, it comes to me. And other than that, I would say just stop by. Like, there's something to be said for, like, show up and see what we're doing when we're doing it. It's it's an amazing building and what's inside it when there's no kids there, but when the teachers and the kids are in the building, it's the best time to see what we do.
Yeah, I would agree. I would encourage any employer who wants to build, for the first thing you need to do, to your point, is schedule the time to come out and visit. And I think when you take a walk through the school and you see what's taking place, and you'll find that the students are respectful, they're engaged, and I think, and for those students, they don't want to be anyplace else.
Correct.
They like where they're at.
Yep, we get lots of tears when they switch semesters and have to go back.
I can imagine.
I don't want to
We take
leave.
pride in those tears.
So I don't want that history class. I just want to be here. So, but no, I think it's important because I think, and as we look at the future of workforce development in the county, your school has played, but will play an even more important role going forward because we are seeing a shift to career and technical education, post-secondary, both at the secondary level, post-secondary, and I think there's a recognition. And again, we're not preparing young people for jobs; we're preparing them for careers.
Yes.
And I think that's in your name, but I think that has really become an important part of who you are.
And I do think we are, and I always say it, I think we're the best deal in public education. And that's not lip service. That's the students that come to us, it's value added because whether that is something that you choose to do and that becomes your career pathway, you get those skills, you get college credits, you get industry certifications, but then even if you change your pathway, you have a skill that you can live and support yourself or support a family while you do whatever you need to do. And I mean, like I said, the students that are going through the diesel mechanics program or the healthcare, any of our programs, go then see what that costs if you do that at a post-secondary level. Our kids are getting it for free. And then a lot of them are getting partnered up with our industry partners, our workforce partners, who then become their full-time employers and will take care of the education for them. And there's no better deal.
No, I would agree. And it's interesting. I've had the opportunity, I've been privileged since I've been here to work with all of the directors of the Career and Technology Center. And I just want to give out to your succeeding Terry Miller. I want to give a shout out to him. But we're excited to have you. You got a lot of energy, and I think
Second
you have
time.
a lot of challenges, and we love having you in here today. And we'll have you back because I think it's important to be able to update folks as to what's going on. And again, who knew we had a triathlete?
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
Crazy people.
That's a triathlete who's an Ozzy Osbourne fan.
Yes.
How often you find those? Ozzy Osbourne was not a triathlete.
He was not.
No.
No, he wasn't.
In his mind, he was.
Maybe,
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I don't even think he was in his
Well,
mind.
he
Um,
took enough substances to make him think that he was.
But yeah, but it was and from Newville, and I've never left Newville.
I have never left Newville. No, my father was a skilled tradesman. He's a gunsmith by trade, so he has had a business in Newville. He should be be retired four times over.
You're an avid shooter as well.
I am.
See?
There it is.
Everything.
This is it. So survivalist.
Maybe.
It's okay to say around here. I mean,
So
Some people would probably question my survival skills.
no, this is great. I mean, who would know? And you speak fluent Spanish.
Most of the time.
see.
So anyway, so what's your favorite Spanish restaurant? I should say
Oh.
Hispanic restaurant.
That's a tough one, Mike. We actually just go to Montezuma's a lot. We like, so Inca, of course, is Peruvian based, but we like that one as well. I have not been to, what's the one on 11 right outside of Greencastle?
Oh, yeah.
Say agave. I
Casa
haven't- I have
agave.
not been there, but I've heard amazing things
that's
about
good.
it.
But if you want authentic, okay, go down.
They're all authentic.
No, Veroni's down on the square.
Oh,
You need to do that. And there's one,
okay.
and there's one on West Washington Street. Okay, so you go down. If you're going down Main Street, okay, right past the Capitol, Washington Street, make a right.
Okay.
You're gonna go block. It's gonna be on your left. You'll think you're in Mexico. Literally.
All right.
I mean, it's really authentic. But yeah, so so I'm trying to just help you out there.
Awesome. We love to eat, so.
So anyway, but all of them that you mentioned, they're all good. They're all good. And so anyway, I want to thank you for coming in today.
Thank you. This was fun.
This is so we're supposed to close this, right? This concludes another episode of Mike on the Mic. I want to thank Lesli Shuman and our sponsor, Blue Ridge Risk Partners. It's our sponsors that make the podcast possible. If you or your business would like to be a sponsor, please reach out to our office at 717-263-8282 or contact our producer, Bosco, at david@fcatc.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe us on YouTube. And don't forget, if you have not received an invitation to our Industry Appreciation Dinner, contact our office at this same thing, 717-263-8282. And if you are an employer and you want to connect with the Franklin County Career and Technology Center, Lesli Shuman is waiting for you. She runs the social media, and she'll be happy to arrange to get you connected. So, again, Lesli, thank you for being here. Bosco,
both.
All right.
we're done.
We're good. Thank you.